Many of you are probably familiar with the concept of brain drain. Brain drain occurs when highly skilled individuals move abroad for work-related reasons. This topic is highly debated, and it is a cause of concern among policymakers in particular, because potentially brain drain could cause loss of human capital for the country of origin of these talents that decide to spend their life abroad. However, it has been argued that often the migration of talents is not permanent. In fact, at some point in their life, these highly skilled migrants decide to go back to their home country. And when they do so, they bring with them knowledge, expertise, skills that they have developed abroad. So more than talking about brain drain, it would be appropriate to talk about brain circulation. And brain circulation would be beneficial both for the hosting country and for the home country. Based on this line of reasoning, many government agencies have put in place schemes and grants, subsidies aiming to stimulate international mobility of talents, and in particular international mobility of scientists, because scientists are knowledge producers. There is scant empirical evidence regarding the causal relationship between international mobility and individual productivity and career patterns of scientists, in particular of young scientists. And motivated by this scant evidence, my co-authors and I decided to dig deeper into this relationship in order to try to understand more. Our results are based on the analysis of a peculiar grant offered by the Swiss National Science Foundation to young scholars willing to spend a period of time abroad to conduct their research. We do find that the provision of the grant stimulates international mobility, because in the short run, applicants who did receive the grant compared with applicants who did not receive the grant are more likely to be abroad. And their presence abroad, their permanence abroad, extends beyond the duration of the grant. However, it does not seem that this migration turns out to be permanent, because in the long term, we do not find any significant difference between applicants who got the grant compared with applicants who did not get the grant. So basically, the brain drain hypothesis is not supported by our findings. We also find an effect on individual performance, in particular on individual research output. And whereas we do not find an effect on the quantity of research articles published by mobile scientists, we do find an effect on the quality of their research, because their research appears on journals that are on average of better quality when it comes to the impact factor of the journals where these mobile scientists publish. However, this higher quality of research output seems not to be beneficial for the career developments and the career patterns of the scientists, because when we analyze the probability to become professor and we compare applicants that spend a period of time abroad because they were successful in obtaining the grant compared with applicants that were unsuccessful, there is no statistically significant difference between the probability to become professor at some point in their life. Intrigued by our result on the quality of individual productivity, we tried to dig deeper into this finding and to understand the potential mechanisms that could explain it. What we found, interestingly, is that mobile scientists on average have access to a wider network of new co-authors. And these new co-authors are on average of better quality. So the possibility to access more co-authors that are talented, basically, could explain the effect on the quality of publications that we found that I just explained. The implications of our studies are related, first of all, to the career patterns of individuals who are willing to spend a period abroad and are willing to develop their career in academia. young scholars in particular should take into account that the probability to end up in networks of talented individuals that could become their co-authors and therefore could benefit them in terms of knowledge exchanges and even increase their probability to publish on higher quality journals should be an element to take into account into the design of personal strategies when it comes to the definition of the career patterns in the academic job market. Another element that we do find, and another implication of our study, speaks directly to policymakers. In fact, our results are mainly driven by the mobility of individuals who go abroad for the first time. So when designing a scheme aiming at supporting international mobility of scientists, policymakers should take into account that financing individuals who move for the first time may be more beneficial than financing individuals who move for their second, third, or fourth time. Basically, understanding what is the timing of mobility in the professional lifetime of an individual, it is important when deciding whether or not to finance the international mobility of a young scientist.